Chris, hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about how you first got involved with Felixstowe and Walton United.
It goes back quite a few years. As a young boy with my brother Stuart, we used to come up to watch the games. I was never a footballer myself, but a lot of the people in the club had children involved with the club, but we were just supporters, and we would, even back as 10, 11, 12-year-olds, we would think of ideas we could fundraise and things like that. So it's quite funny how it's sort of gone full circle, and I now do it pretty much full time.
Yeah.
But I was then, as well as being a Lincoln City fanatic, as everyone probably knows,
Yep.
I was a Ipswich Town fan for years. With Stuart, we used to go all off around Europe and, watch them home and away, and just become disillusioned with it, which ironically is what's happening now with a lot of Ipswich fans as well.
Yeah.
We got fed up, I think, in 2003. Started coming up to games here again, and back then the club was towards the bottom of the first division, really struggling, losing at home to Down in Town every week and Cornard, and it was a really low ebb, but you could see the people involved, and that's what Felixstowe has always had, is a really good core of people. And people back then like Chris and Jane and Phil and Tony, all those people who were keeping that club going. We actually responded to an advert in the programme for more helpers off the pitch. Before we knew it, we were at a committee meeting putting our hands up for various jobs, become programme editor within a few months of starting. Did that for 5 years. That's a thankless task. And then just gradually got more and more involved with the off-field social events, fundraising.
No, because you've done quite a bit of fundraising, haven't you? There was the 92 in 92. Was that directly related to the club as well?
Well, over the years there's been different things we've fundraised for. When we had the old wooden stands, we had to replace that with the stands we've got now.
Yeah.
We did a sponsor a seat campaign that raised £2,000. We did fetes and all manner of things, but that was just to keep the club its head above water, really. It wasn't for anything like the building we're sat in now. This was a whole new ball game, really. We had to raise £90,000 as a club.
So when you look back now, what it was like back in 2003 and so on, and you compare it with now, how does that feel?
I still struggle to believe I'm sitting in this room, really, because it was such a dream for everyone in the club for so long, and we had so many false dawns over the years where someone in the council would suggest a site somewhere and there'd be feasibility studies and the club would raise money, which was really hard to come by, to pay for these studies, and then someone else in the council would come and scrap that idea and bring up something else, and all of it, it's always 2 years away. For 10 years it was always, in 2 years' time we could have this, and it wasn't really until 3-4 years ago that when the floodlights finally got permanent.
And there's a story itself there, isn't it, in the floodlights alone?
That would be a video box set.
Yeah, which we will talk about in future parts to this video. Yeah. So you must be pretty excited about what's coming in the future. What's just around the corner, hopefully.
Yeah, obviously getting the building, although it's a culmination of a lot of things, to be honest, it's just a start, because the FA made it quite clear that too many clubs get new buildings like this and they either haven't got the people to run it, or it becomes a white elephant and it's not used. It was sold as being a community building, and that the challenge now is to get it used 7 days a week. It's all right when you've got a winning team and people are flooding for the turnstiles and you've got the income and you know, the bars buzzing, and the feel-good factor about the club. Money is easier to come across, not easy, but easier. But you're only seeing now, even this week with Lowestoft, as soon as the winning streak ends, you know, they were on an upward curve for a long while. As soon as things start tailing off, crowds drop, income drops, and then they find themselves in real problems. And a lot of clubs are like that, which is why we took the decision to turn this into a 7-day-week place, really, because then you're kind of protecting it against on-field problems.
Yeah, sure.
You know, you've still got the income there. You know, and that's what we're trying to do at the moment.
Okay, so let's move it forward now a little bit to what you're doing now. What can you give us an idea of your day-to-day responsibilities?
I always say I'm juggling about 100 balls, really, because there's so many different parts to the role that we have. Facilities manager, which is the title I was given, it encompasses so much, really. It's the day-to-day operation of the bar, the catering, the staffing, before you even get onto the football side of it. And the football side of it is cleaning the kit, doing the hospitality, players' food, cleaning, changing rooms, and ground maintenance. And then there's another side of it, which is the social events, fundraising, trying to get this place booked up with parties and outside events and seminars and meetings and clubs and all the rest of it. Then you've got the sponsorship side of it. I'm in charge of all the sponsorship, so we're quite lucky, really. A lot of clubs who are progressing rely on one money man, two money men, and he takes that person to get bored, and then the club isn't ready, and then you see these clubs dropping like a stone, and it happens so many clubs.
So it's about sustainability, isn't
Absolutely,
it?
yeah. And we're quite lucky in that we have around 90 sponsors involved in the club. 2 or 3 bigger ones, and then lots of smaller ones. So if one does go, the club doesn't drop off a cliff like a lot of clubs do. You know, we can just work on replacing other sponsors, and that's quite a big task in itself, managing those sponsors and making them feel part of it. There's no good point getting their money every year and then not speaking to them again until the following year. You know, you have to involve them and make them feel part of it. So that's a big part of the job.
When you finish for the day, or in brackets, do you ever finish for the day? Presumably this must be in your head all of the time, isn't it? The football club, or a lot of the time.
That's you should probably interview my partner Kate, actually, because she'll probably tell you more than mine. It does consume my life, you know, I'll admit that. So if I have a night off in the cinema, you know, my phone is constantly going with texts and emails, and you know, I can't help but I can't leave them.
Sure.
You know, it's not a 9-to-5 job. I can't leave them and deal with them in the morning. I have to deal with them there and then, which my family find quite difficult. And on a holiday, you know, it's very difficult to switch off. And
so you actually have a holiday, do you?
No, I haven't had one for a while, but yeah, it'd be nice to have one. But even when I'm just sat at home watching TV, you know, my head is constantly going with fundraising ideas. I borrow ideas off other clubs, you know, and adapt them for us. You know, I'm constantly thinking about it. I can't help it. You know, it's part of me, and I'm doing it because I can see the club progressing. I just wanted to carry on. I did mention the volunteers before, and they were the reason I got involved in the club. Yeah. Because I could just see the commitment they had for the club, and we've still got that. We've lost good people over the years, and it's a struggle to replace them in this day and age. And that's not just this football club; it's any club, you know, guide group, you know, anything. They're all struggling for volunteers, and we're so lucky as a club to have volunteers we have, and we don't take them for granted. You know, every hour they can give is so valuable, because it all adds up to, you know, a bigger part.
Well, I mean, I'm sure people will be delighted to know how much it's appreciated.
Yeah.
And what I would say is, in future interviews that we're going to hopefully do with you, we can talk a little bit more about that, as well as revisiting some of the past experiences, which could be of particular interest for some of the people who've kind of started supporting the club in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
There's a whole history there for them. So, for the time being, thanks a lot for your time, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.